Hello, I am Eloise and this is my channel, and for today's video I am going to be showing you all of my little tips and tricks that you might not already know. So today I'm going to help a girl out. I've got loads of little products here that all have multi-uses, but you probably didn't think they had multi-uses. I've got my little notebook here that's got lots of notes for me to share with you. I'm very prepared, I know. While I've got you here, make sure you subscribe and all that jazz. And if you want to know all of my tricks of the trade, then make sure you keep on watching. So, you're probably wondering why I have naked lips right now. They look very small and very weird. I'm going to quickly line my lips. So now I'm going to show you how to turn a cream lipstick into a much more long wearing matte lipstick. So you might have a cream lipstick at home that you absolutely love the colour of, but it just doesn't have the longevity of a normal matte lipstick. I have a cream lipstick here. It's called Insanity and it's a Urban Decay Vice lipstick. And I'm just going to use my little mirror to pop this on. It's the most gorgeous nude colour, but sometimes I just wish that it was matte because it doesn't last as long as a matte would. My little trick is pop your cream lipstick on, grab some tissue, blot it, so taking that excess off. Then I'm going to take a small sheet and I'm going to pull it apart. So it's now a really thin layer of tissue. And then I'm going to grab a powder brush and a loose powder. I've got the Urban Decay Velvetizer. I don't tend to use loose powder, this is the only one I've got. And I'm just going to pop this over my lips and then press the loose powder on top. And that just completely mattifies it, and you're going to find that it lasts a lot longer. So that is trick number one. So while I've got the Velvetizer here, I'm just going to show you how to make a light to medium coverage foundation a full coverage foundation. So I've got the Naked Skin foundation here. Give it a good shake. Just pumped a little bit there, and you can see it's a really liquidy formula because it's running down my hand at a fast pace. So I don't know if you can see that, but that is quite a sheer, well not sheer, it's got lovely medium coverage, but you might want that more full coverage just one day, and it saves you not having to buy two different foundations because you might really love the finish of this foundation but you just want to make it really more full coverage. I'm going to pump a tiny little bit on the back of my hand because I don't want to waste it. And then with the Velvetizer, I'm just going to grab a little brush and pop in a small amount and then mix it up. Now I'm just going to zoom you in so you can sort of see the difference. So that is Naked Skin on its own, and that is Naked Skin with the Velvetizer. You can see Naked Skin on its own has a lovely luminous finish, and adding that Velvetizer really mattes it down and also gives it a lot fuller coverage. I don't know if you can see the difference, but honestly, the difference is phenomenal. Okay, so that is how you make your foundation more matte and more full coverage. That is using the Urban Decay Velvetizer. So now I'm going to show you how to sheer out a more full coverage foundation. You know me, I'm not a huge fan of the All Night foundation on its own. I always like to mix it in with either a little bit of oil or some of my moisturiser. I'm going to place two small amounts. I might just zoom you in for this bit. So that is how full coverage All Nighter foundation is. I know the label's come off, but now I'm going to add Urban Decay Hot Springs Hydrating Gel. And it's a water-based hydrating gel, so it's not going to break down the foundation at all. Can you see the difference? Obviously, this is very extreme. If you didn't want to sheer it down this much, I would just add in a tiny little bit of hydrating gel or my drop shot that I always use, which you'll see in all of my videos. So yeah, this shears out a lot, and you can see this is super full coverage. This is a lot more sheared out. So you can either use your moisturiser to sheer out your full coverage foundation, or like I always use, you could add in a drop or two of drop shot. So it's entirely up to you what you mix in with your full coverage foundation. So that was trick number two. My next trick is something that a lot of people don't know, but a lot of people should know, and that is how to make your shimmer eyeshadows a lot more pigmented or more foiled. So if I show you, so I'm going to take Lumbre from the Naked Heat palette. That was this one here. And this is a really beautiful like rosy duochrome gold. So I'm just going to take it on a flat eyeshadow brush and just show you. It's very, very sheer. Obviously it works a lot better with your fingertips because of the oils in your fingertips. Makes the product more creamy. More creamy? Let me show you how to make this more pigmented. Obviously using an eyeshadow primer is going to really help. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit on there, blend it out with my finger. If you've got a tacky base, of course, anything that goes on top of it is going to really attach to that base. I'm just going to take that same shade. So that's so much more pigmented. I'll do a zoom in a second. But now I'm going to show you, I've just dipped my brush into the eyeshadow. Grab your all-nighter setting spray and douse the brush in it. I like to spray the all-nighter setting spray when the shadow's already on the brush, because if you put a damp brush into your shimmer eyeshadow, it creates a film on top and it makes the shadow go all weird and just not as good to deal with, basically. So this is called foiling. Now, you can see the difference. I'm going to go one step further. So I'm going to scrape some of this eyeshadow out, keep that on my brush, and I'm going to create a puddle of all-nighter setting spray on the back of my hand. And I'm going to really soak the brush, really saturate it in the setting spray. And this creates the most incredible liquid metal effect. This is the eyeshadow with just a dry brush. This is the eyeshadow with the eyeshadow primer underneath. This is the shadow with all-nighter setting spray spritzed on the brush, and this is the shadow with the brush saturated in all-nighter setting spray. So you can see the difference. If you don't use a primer or a setting spray on your shimmer shadows, you are not going to get the colour payoff that you deserve. So yeah, really think about getting an eyeshadow primer or a setting spray, because it's going to really help you out. It's going to make your shadows last a lot longer throughout the day. It's not going to let them crease. It's going to really lock in the shadow and give you a really long wear. So you can do that same technique by using a winged liner brush. If you love one of these metallic shades in here, you can make it into a liner, doing exactly the same what I did with the saturation on the back of my hand. So pick up the shadow, spray all-nighter setting spray on the back of your hand into sort of like a puddle, saturate the brush, and you can do the most beautiful metallic wing. So you can do that with any eyeshadow at all, as long as you've got your all-nighter setting spray. Then you can, yeah, do some crazy wings. Trick number 4, if you have gone away and you really fancy doing a wing, but you left your liquid liner at home or your gel liner at home, but you've got a black pencil, this is going to act as your gel liner. It is the blackest eyeliner I have ever used in my life. It's the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On Pencil in the shade Perversion. It is the blackest, most creamiest, intense black pencil I have ever used in my life. Let me show you. This is how black it is. Crazy, right? So the way that we're going to get a really beautiful wing is to crush down the pencil. So I'm just going to pop it onto the back of my hand like that. And you can either use a wing liner brush or you can use a liner brush which isn't angled. And I'm just going to crush down that pencil. So let me show you. How amazing is that? It is basically a gel liner. And the great thing about this pencil is that it dries down and is going to be waterproof. Whether you're at a wedding and you're crying your eyes out, you're going swimming on a date, this is going to have your back because it is waterproof. So yeah, you need to get your hands on the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide-On Pencil in the shade Perversion. You're going to have the blackest wing liners you've ever had in your life, and people are going to ask you what you've used. Yeah, I just want to also show you, I am really rubbing my hand right now and it is gone nowhere. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, let me revert back to my notes. So another great tip that you probably see me do all the time is using eyelash primer in my brows. You can see I've got really textured brows. You know me, I love to fluff my brows up to give my brows some more depth and some more texture. I hate it when you can't see any hairs. I think they just look really unnatural. So I use the Urban Decay Subversion Lash Primer. I have just noticed I've used Urban Decay products and only Urban Decay products. Apologies, it's just my favourite brand. So yeah, this is like the strongest brow gel you'll ever use in your life. I feel like every other brow gel holds my brows up for about 5 minutes and then wah, 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 my brows just droop down really sadly. By the way, I did my makeup at 6 o'clock in the morning this morning. It is currently 4:15 in the afternoon. I haven't even touched my face and I am loving the way my skin's looking. Anyway, so back to the brows. I did my brows at 6 o'clock this morning and you can see they're still fluffed up, and that is all down to this bad boy. So I put Subversion on and then I go in with a tinted brow gel just because it leaves a slight white cast through the hairs. So I like to tint them back to being brown. But yeah, that is trick number 5, I want to say. Now on to some more 24/7 Glide On pencils. So I've got 2 little tricks to use with the pencils. I love Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencils. They're so versatile. Like I said, with the Perversion, you can make it into a liner. That goes with the colourful ones too. And also you can use them as a cream eyeshadow. So I'm going to put on a little bit of Deep End, which is my absolute all-time favourite pencil by Urban Decay. And I'm just... Can people just be quiet when I'm filming? Honestly. I would put this all over the lid, let it set down for a couple of seconds, just so it's not completely wet. And then I'm just going to start to blend out those edges. And you can do exactly this on your eyelid as well. So if you've got a pencil and you think, oh, I'd really love that to be as my actual metallic eyeshadow, you can absolutely do that. And you know it's going to set down and stay in place. And of course you can build up the opacity, if that's a word. You could either keep it like this or use it as a base for a shimmer, much like you can use any of the Urban Decay eyeshadow primers as a base for shimmers. You can also use pencils. I'm just going to show you a quick random shimmer shadow, and I'm just going to pop that over the top. And because it's a cream base, it just completely attaches itself. Oh, that's so nice. Also, using a pencil for like a cut crease makes it so much easier, and it's so beautiful. You don't have to pack anything on top. And it just cuts a crease beautifully for you because obviously it's a pencil, it's got a fine point, so you can easily just do a quick cut crease. Okay, so that was trick number 6. Oh, this is a really good one actually. So if you are a glasses wearer, I am, but I tend to not wear my glasses because I hate when I get that glasses mark in my foundation. So a fantastic trick is to use your eyeshadow primer. You can use eyeshadow primer for pretty much anything. So you can either use your Eden eyeshadow primer or your original one. It's entirely up to you, it doesn't really matter. I prefer Eden because it's a thicker consistency and it's also got a concealer running through it. So that is Eden. And all you have to do is right before you put your foundation on, just tap in a little bit of eyeshadow primer, just either side of your nose where you place your glasses, and let it set down a little bit so it's not tacky and it's not going to move about when you put the foundation on top. And then obviously put your foundation on top, finish your makeup off, la la la. Set that area with powder, pop your glasses on, and when you take your glasses off you're going to find that you don't have that mark anymore because you've got this underneath. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I think it's just because it's extremely mattifying, so it keeps the product there. But yeah, amazing. And also if you tend to get your foundation stuck in any fine lines, I often get it in my frown lines because apparently I've got a resting bitch face, and also I'm very expressive in my forehead and around my mouth. If I've got to wear makeup for a long amount of time, then I will put this around my mouth, in between my little frown lines and on my forehead slightly as well. That helps to obviously not let the foundation sit into your lines, and that actually really works. It's such a good little tip. Let me know if you've tried that because I could have just saved your life. I have got 2 more, actually I've got 3 more. So I've got 3 more little tricks and tips for you, and the first one is, hopefully a lot of you do this already because it's quite an obvious one, but if you've got a highlighter that is just below average, can you like even see that? It's the NYX Born to Glow highlighter. I don't tend to go for this highlighter because of how rubbish I find it. So anyway, I'm going to show you. It's very powdery and it doesn't have that beaming. I've put it there, but you can barely even see it. It doesn't have that beaming effect I love. So I'm going to grab my all-nighter setting spray. Spray my hand, let it dry ever so slightly. You don't want the skin to be wet when you do this. I'm going to tap off that excess because it's quite powdery. And you can see, it's probably easier to hold my hand like this. You can see instantly, I've put it here. Can you see that? There we go. It is so much more blinding. Setting spray is literally going to be your saviour. You can spray it on your face to set your makeup for up to 16 hours. You can spray it on your face to make your highlighters so much more beaming. And you can spray it on your eyeshadows to make it so much more pigmented. So it's an absolute all-rounder of a product. That is why I cannot live without it. So that is one that hopefully a lot of you already know, because it's such a simple trick to do. That highlighter is honestly rubbish, but you can absolutely amp it up when you've got some all-nighter setting spray. So that is trick number 7 or 8, one of them. The next one is if you've got pigments or really glittery eyeshadows like the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadows, or pigments like the Peaches and Cream pigments, they work obviously so much better when you've got a glitter glue underneath them. But you don't actually need a glitter glue. You're probably going to think she needs to stop going on about this product, but honestly it's so worth it. The Urban Decay eyeshadow primer in the shade Original. This is pretty much a glitter glue. It has no pigment to it. It dries down completely clear. That one's Eden and that one's Original. You can't see it at all. It is the perfect glitter glue. So if I show you, I'm going to put a bit of eyeshadow primer there. This is Moondust in Solstice by Urban Decay. Now I've put my eyeshadow primer from here to here. So I'm just going to show you what this Moondust looks like with a dry brush. You can barely see it, right? Obviously these work a lot better with either a tacky base or your finger. But let me show you what it looks like when there's an eyeshadow primer underneath. I'm going to zoom you in. That is the difference. That's incredible. So definitely need an eyeshadow primer underneath your glitter eyeshadows, your pigments, your shimmers. It is a lifesaver. Can you even see the first swatch? No. So there you have it. Those are my tips and tricks on how to make the most of your products, and I hope you learned something new today. If you already knew all of those tricks, then amazing, go you. But if you didn't, I hope you learned something new and that you can finally make the most out of your products. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz. I'm Eloise, this is my channel and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.